Yeah, and I've had a few guests in here. Again, Yatsu from Animoca was here a couple weeks ago, and he said AI is ultimately going to have to exist on the blockchain for all these microtransactions between AIs. And he says it's going to push a lot of people into this decentralized place where, again, you can also work with payments and micropayments. And I spoke with the people from Singularity Net, Dr. Ben Goertzel, and they're all big fans that actually these are highly correlated and they go one with the other going forward.
I think so. I mean, people are going to be needing to have a record of their creativity, and they're going to want to timestamp it. And what better way to timestamp a record that is trusted than a blockchain? I think blockchain has been both overly assigned to use cases it's not suitable for and overly maligned for things that it is. It's an important technology like any other, but it's the synthesis of these together. It's the confluence of these exponential technologies that creates what I like to call Web 3.0 in a way, where you go like 1, 2, 3 as a set of technologies, because there's also another notion, which I think is important to note, where there's proponents that say, it's the decentralization of everything that is Web 3. It's the decentralized internet. Oh, that's centralized, therefore it's not Web 3. Maybe you can call it that, but then you're going to be living in a vacuum with 3 or 4 customers and a couple niche use cases. That's not important to humanity. It's not important to business the same way as this confluence of incredible, exponentially advancing technologies coming together, including blockchain, where it fits, to create the next generation of the internet.
Right, okay. But don't be a purist and say it has to be completely decentralized or you're going to miss out on the whole party.
Not only don't be a purist, but recognize that if you're a purist, it's not practical.
Right, yeah, because there won't be the critical mass in the creation. Talk to me about your rollout strategy, because when I first met you guys, I assumed it was an enterprise solution, but now anybody going to the website can go on there and start creating metaverses. I'm doing it, and I didn't even get any special treatment, not yet, I hope. And so I'm in there playing around and already creating things from scratch with no costs.
Yeah.
So tell me about how people can try Vatom, and what is your philosophy for rolling these things out? You mentioned Deloitte, which is going to do an amazing job of potentially onboarding 400,000 entities on there, but what are the plans?
So the plans are very much to make sure that the tools are accessible and technology is accessible. Wherever possible, we do believe in open source. We want to have a vibrant open source community, but we also do believe in having proprietary capabilities that we can offer on an enterprise class basis. Not everyone needs advanced security or the ability to have an identity SDK, which I think we kind of uniquely bring for identity federation back to existing systems. Not everyone wants to build a fancy, unique, brandable experience in a wallet with our Experience SDK. And there's a lot of different areas that I think are important for us to nurture, and that's a business model that I think has almost an infinite opportunity to scale. At the same time, we want to open it up. We want to open it up for the open source community in areas for people to do other things with this technology, but also for the plugin architecture that I mentioned. Now, there's 3 types of plugins that I should just mention, just to answer your question on how would this scale. One is a plugin for virtual spaces themselves. What kinds of things can you do in a space? Do you run into your supply chain and it's automatically fed in a secure way and you're now interacting with it in 3D? Like, that's not a thing that we would ever write. That's a plugin that someone else would write. Or do you have the next type of plugin, which is personal plugin? It's not about the space, it's about enhancing your identity. Mm-hmm. That might be something complex, or it could be something as simple as a high five. And you say, here's a high five, costs $1, right? Somebody can charge for that. I put up my high five. Somebody else wants to high five me, but they can't because they don't have the high five plugin. So then they pay $1, right? That's a nice business model. Now everyone can high five. Who wants to download that plugin, right? So those are personal plugins. The next type was really what you would call templates. When you think about digital objects, programmable, dynamic, smart, intelligent, connected, there's so many things that you can do. But once you do it, it might be semi-complex if you have like a real complicated use case. You want non-technical people to be able to use it again and again and again. So that type of thing, which is like a plugin, which we call templates, you want to be able to say, okay, a simple template might be, let's do a contest where you scratch to win. But behind the scenes might be kind of complicated. You might say, there's 15 prizes. These have a 7% chance of winning. These have a 14% chance. These prizes are connected back to redemption, back at a Kroger supermarket. These are able, by the time you're done with that, you now want a non-technical person to come in to a easy to use template, fill in the blanks, upload a couple videos and hit go. And then that object is made, and then you have your distribution system. Now let's do Pokemon Go AR all over London and spread them out. Or let's distribute them out in virtual environments, or put them up on Instagram. Click and take one. Take one's a very different part of the brain, different kind of advertising to now say, let's invoke the power of ownership and take this object and put it right on a Web 2 site, right? So once you have that kind of template, again, you want to make that usable over and over again. So these are the basis of the scaling model.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.